This is very popular. This tiny small bottle, which you see in my hand in blue color, is my favorite peptide. This is GHK-Cu, my favorite peptide. Okay. See, when people hear about GHK-Cu, they think about skincare and they think about anti-aging. You think about wrinkle reduction. You think about hair growth serums and better skin quality. And honestly, even I also thought exactly the same when I started using this and when I started this protocol. And that GHKCU is basically a cosmetic peptide or a beauty peptide or something which is useful for skin to improve the elastin or tightening the skin or reducing the wrinkles. So I never thought much beyond that. But when you go deeper into the science of GHKCU, the more surprising this peptide actually become, because GHK-Cu may actually be one of the most fascinating repair signals in the human body. We have seen BPC 157, TB 500, and everything, but GHK-Cu is one of the most fascinating repair mechanism and repair signal in your human body. So it's a peptide actually naturally produced by your own tissues, and that's the peptide that declines dramatically as you age, and that is why you need to supplement it as and when you cross 35, 40. So this is a peptide that appears to influence thousands of genes involved in repair, regeneration, inflammation control, collagen production, and potentially even healthy aging, elastin production. So that is why it is definitely going to be helpful for your skin in terms of elastin, in terms of collagen, but at the same time, thousands of genes involved in repair, regeneration, most importantly, inflammation control. Even people use KPV separately for inflammation, but think about one peptide that take care of even repair, inflammation, collagen, elastin, healthy aging, and everything. So today, let's try to understand what is GHK-Cu actually is and why scientists are so much interested in it and why it may be far more important than most people realize. Okay, now why you should be using it also if you're above 35 or 40. So let's first understand what is GHK-Cu. Let's start with the basics. GHK, that stands for Glycyl-Histidyl-L-Lysine. So it's a tiny peptide which is made of just 3 amino acids. So by itself, GHK is interesting. But when it binds to copper, so GHK becomes GHK-Cu, and that's where things get really powerful, right? GHK-Cu, GHK copper occurs naturally in the human body and it's found in your blood plasma, saliva, urine, tissues. And this is not a foreign compound. It's something your body already makes. And the problem is that the production of GHK-Cu declines significantly with age. So this is how the structure is, right? As in when your age goes like this, the production of this will come down like this. And that decline may be, more important than most people actually realize. And that is why if you're above 40, see why I'm using it, because I know it is declining. So I have to use it to improve my skin, improve my repair, improve my regeneration and everything, right? So now let's also discuss about the hidden connection between this GHK copper and aging. This is something which is getting fascinated also, right? So if you see, GHK is produced during tissue remodeling. Every time your body repairs collagen, repair tissues or heals a wound, what happens is tiny fragments are released, and one of those fragments is GHK. Now think about what that means. GHK is essentially a biological signal that says repair work is needed here, right? It's actually part of the body's natural healing communication system. So the problem is that when we age, collagen becomes stiffer and tissue remodeling becomes less efficient. So repair signaling will decrease. And in fact, if you look at the studies that suggest that by age 50, 60, the circulating GHK levels may be dramatically lower than they were in the youth, almost 60, 70% lower than you were in the youth. That is why if you are as you are aging, you need to supplement it and it will be good for you. So less GHK means what? Less repair signal, because this was contributing significantly to the repair. So less GHK means less repair signal. It won't give that repairing signal, right? Less efficient collagen turnover. We need collagen production and reduced regenerative capacity. And this may be one of the biggest reason, the actual reason aging becomes progressively visible over a period of time. Now here, one question is why copper is important. let's talk about the copper part, because here copper is not just a mineral. Copper actually acts as a critical cofactor for many repair enzymes. Now, without adequate copper, collagen production suffers, elastin formation suffers, antioxidant defense also weaken, and tissue repair also will get slow down, right? So GHK act almost like a delivery system, and it binds copper. The moment it binds copper and helps to direct it where it is needed the most. So you can consider, you think GHK as the courier, copper is the package, and damaged tissue is the destination. I hope this is now very clear. GHK is the courier, copper is the package, and damaged tissue is actually the destination. So, see, this is where the story is going to become even more interesting. Most people think GHK-Cu works because it helps collagen production. That is definitely true, but that's only a smart, in fact, small part of the story. There are researchers or research that is basically suggesting that GHK-Cu influence gene expression, and not just a few genes, it's thousands of them. And there are studies that have shown effects on genes involved with multiple areas, multiple dimensions, like DNA repair, antioxidant defense, stem cell activity, tissue regeneration, inflammation control, cellular maintenance. And if, in other words, GHK-Cu may not simply repair tissue, it may help to create an environment where repair becomes much more easier. And that's completely different concept, right? Now the question is why this is very much popular for skin. Of course, skin is still where GHK-Cu become famous, right? And everybody is using GHK-Cus for skin also, skin quality. It's not for skin whitening, that will come over a period of time, but skin tightening, that wrinkle reduction, anti-aging, elastin production, collagen production. That is how it becomes useful for skin, and to an extent hair also. For hair, AHKC, that's a different one that is of much better use if you want to use only for hair. See, there is a good reason. There are multiple research that suggest that it definitely improves skin thickness, right? And it improves skin elasticity. If you look at my skin, I can see that bigger change since I have used it. I have survived cancer, and after the treatments, my skin is completely like damaged also. So I know I wanted to use this, and I used it. I used multiple peptides, and I did biohacking of my body, and that's how I'm like this. Otherwise, I cannot even sit in front of camera. I never felt like sitting. If you look at my older videos, couple of years back after the survival, I never feel confident also when I look in front of the camera or sit in front of the camera. But now I can feel that confidence. One of the reason for that confidence is actually GHK-Cu. Even if you look at my skin, the quality of the skin, right? This thickness, the elastic, nature, and there is no wrinkles, and everything is gone actually. So it is basically improving the wound healing also. It reduces the visible signs of aging. I can feel it, right? It support the collagen production, it support elastin production, and thereby it improve the elasticity. Look at this. Okay, and there are many users, not just me. They have seen the better skin texture, improved skin quality, faster healing inside, right, and a healthier appearance. You just look at me and see the difference. You look at my previous photo also. I'll attach that previous photo here somewhere. Okay, now you compare both of these. Of course, there are many other peptides, and a combination is actually what worked, but GHK-Cu also played a very important role in this. So the reason is simple. Skin is constantly remodeling, and GHK-Cu appears to support that process. There is a hair growth connection also, as I told you. One of the most exciting area of research that is again coming into the hair follicles. See, hair follicles are surprisingly complex structures, and for that, the hair follicles, they require blood flow, growth factors, stem cell activity, and healthy signaling pathways. And there are research which suggests that GHK-Cu may support several of these processes simultaneously. But as I told you, AHK-Cu is much better. But when you're using this you can consider as complementary. Apart from the quality and everything that you get for skin, hair is just like a complementary thing. That's how you can consider. This is why GHK-Cu become even more common. If you see when it comes to hair serums also, there are topical facial serums also, which is combining GHK-Cu, hair serums also. There are multiple scalp formulations where GHK-Cu used. And hair restoration protocols also use GHK-Cu. See, it's not a miracle cure for hair loss, but it is one of the more or most interesting compound which is being studied in that area. But the real one is AHKC. That's a different one, which I can do a separate video, but not that popular compared to GHK-Cu. Now let's also talk about the longevity connection. That's the most exciting part again, longevity. We are discussing healthy aging and longevity, right? In all these discussions, what ultimately matters is to how long we can live a healthier life, right? Longevity. So there are many researchers that believe aging is not simply wear and tear. It is gradual loss of your repair capacity, body's repair capacities. The body slowly becomes less effective to maintain itself. Body is not able to maintain itself. It becomes less effective over a period of time because these compounds get reduced. And GHK-Cu basically appears to influence several of those pathways involved in healthy aging. And there are many research that suggest the potential impact or effect on oxidative stress, right, that get reduced. Oxidative stress, I hope all of you know, inflammation, cellular repair, even mitochondrial function. For mitochondria, we have SS31 and MOTC that's separate, but this also helps tissue regeneration. And there are some studies that have even explored, interaction within pathways associated with the longevity and cellular resilience also. That doesn't mean GHK-Cu is an anti-aging miracle, but it does mean definitely that its effect may extend far beyond your skin health alone. So it's not just a skin peptide. It is much more than that. That's my point. So skin peptide, I've already told you, it improves elastin, it improves collagen, it tightens your skin, right? And all those properties are there. It even help in hair also. But beyond that, repair, regeneration, anti-inflammation, all these are the properties of this. It signals several pathways, right? Now, the question is, should I use topical or injectable? Topical is there. You can see in multiple various serums also. This is again one of the common questions that I used to get. Should GHK-Cu be used topically or injected? See, for skin and hair goals, topical formulation make a lot of sense, but the absorption may not be there. It won't go deeper. So both side you can use. If you are someone who's using injection that repair from inside, topical will repair from outside, because beyond a layer it won't go inside, right? So we need a repair from inside also. And also, if you need to get the full potential of GHK-Cu, this repair, regeneration, tissue repair, healing, anti-inflammation, and all those, injectable is required. So in fact, if you see the topical, that they deliver the peptide, on the top, that surface, right? And for the systemic effect, which that I have told you so far, you have to explore injectable forms. But injectable GHK-Cu remains still an area of regulatory evaluation and research. It's not FDA approved. So it's important to remember that most of the strongest human data currently involve only the topical application. Human data. But still human trials have started for this. But still, even look at me, right? I have used it for 6 months now, 6 to 8 months now, and I can see that difference. So that is why I'm doing this video without using, and that is why I've shown this and I'm doing this. I'm using this even just before doing this video. I've taken a shot of this. Okay, let's talk about the concerns. Very important, the safety discussion. See, every powerful biological signal comes with a potential trade-off. The main concern involved the copper balance. Too much copper can be problematic also. And copper balance is closely linked to zinc balance. So high zinc intake can reduce copper absorption. High copper exposure can potentially affect the zinc status also. That balance is very much required. And that is why mineral balance is very important in your body. And another theoretical concern involves this angiogenesis. Angiogenesis means the formation of new blood cells. See, the blood cell formation is critical for healing. Scientists continue to investigate whether increased angiogenesis could have unintended consequences in certain situations. At this stage, we need more research and may not be able to say that. But this is another concern that is related to new formation of blood cells. And there are debates on cancer patient, use on cancer patient. I myself have done a lot of research whether I can use this or not, as more cell production and enlargement and all those is there. But still I'm using it. This is an area of discussion which I have to do separately. So, but still I'm using this. right? And for me, there are reasons also for using this. When I look at the cost benefit analysis, the benefit is much, 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 much more than the cost. Okay, now what makes GHK-Cu different from most peptides? Let's talk about this. See, most peptides do one thing, maybe that increase growth hormone or reduce. If I'm talking about semaglutide, they reduce the appetite, or if I talk about CJC1295, ipamorelin, they increase the growth hormone. Tesamorelin increase the growth hormone, or improve recovery. If I talk about TB500 or BPC157, but GHK-Cu, this is something which is very different. It seems like acting more like a repair coordinator. So instead of activating a single pathway, unlike reducing appetite or insulin resistance or glucagon, right? Or we have seen tirzepatide, semaglutide, and retatrutide activating multiple pathways. So here it appears to influence multiple systems involved in maintenance and regeneration, and that's what make it more intriguing also. And that's why so many longevity researchers continue to pay attention to the GHK-Cu. See, when most of the people hear about GHK-Cu, they think about better skin. Even when I started, I thought, yes, I have tesamorelin for visceral fat reduction, I have GH for growth hormone, and I have TB500 and BPC for my repair. I have retatrutide for my fat loss, and then GHK-Cu I use for my skin. But when I started using this with a combination, I've seen GHK-Cu is the best one, which is in fact coordinating all these and supplementing all these, because this have multiple function. Yes, of course, it supports healthy skin and help to support the skin quality in terms of elastin production, in terms of tightening, in terms of glowing, in terms of collagen, everything. But that's just the beginning of this. That's one of the property of this. In fact, GHK-Cu is deeply involved in multiple things like tissue repair, what something BPC 157 will do, but not to that level. Collagen remodeling, copper delivery, inflammation control, something KPV will do. Gene regulation, cellular maintenance, and perhaps most importantly, it represents something bigger. In fact, a glimpse of how the body naturally coordinates the repair and regeneration. Our body will do that, and GHK-Cu actually, looks like same. It's a glimpse of what our body actually do for this repair and regeneration. Right? So the future research, of course, is promising. And if you're someone who's above 35, 40, I would strongly recommend this. So that's again your choice, and you have to consult with your doctor and you have to decide. GHK-Cu definitely is not a beauty peptide. It may be one of the most fascinating repair signal in the entire field of peptide science. That's what I wanted to convey you. So this is not just simply a skin peptide. This is having multiple use. Just not skin peptide. Copper delivery, inflammation control, gene regulation, cellular maintenance, tissue repair, collagen remodeling, elastin production, everything. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. If you're looking for any help on your peptide protocol, you can get in touch with us. So I'll guide you over there. See you.